So the Willie Lynch letter, if you don't know, was basically a letter written to white people, from white people, for white people. Basically giving them the scoop on how to enslave us and how to make sure the enslavement lasts for hundreds of years. And you gotta understand that white people, and not all white people, I'll, I'll be politically correct in saying that not all white people and not every white person. However, historically, white people have been using this manifest destiny concept to the fullest. And they've, as a race and as a community, basically set out to control the entire world, the entire globe, from coast to coast, country to country. And you know, you could look at events such as the Geneva Convention, where these group of people, this group of white men, sat down together to chop up Africa into pieces and say, you colonize here, you colonize there, you colonize there. To go to to come to America and chop up this native land that we see every day into states from coast to coast, and then set up businesses and companies and give them titles like U.S. Postal Service, which is a private business, or just give them these official sounding titles and names to keep the oppression going. So in the Willie Lynch letter, it was very specific about the language you use with your slaves, and the language that we use with each other comes from the language that they've given to us. But the language that they've given to us is not going to get you out of the circle. It's not going to get you out of the enslavement. So when they say, you know, black people don't read, you know, if you want to hide something from a black person, where would you put it? In a book? Like, that's facts, because all the keys to escaping our enslavement have been in books. And if you read the books that they wrote and the articles they wrote to each other about how to put us there, you could basically reverse engineer from there, like, oh, all right, this is what they're doing. These are their strategies, their tactics, their best practices that they use to keep us in a worse off position. The smarter we get, the smarter they get. The better we get at freeing ourselves, the more conniving they get at putting us back in a box. So you gotta think, like, so, you know, back in the day they used to lynch us, right? It went from lynching to getting shot. It went from, and these are not original ideas from me. You feel me? These ideas exist, whether or not they come out of my mouth. You read them on Google, or you actually do research and look at, you know, the history of every field, and look at the real history behind it. So the Willie Lynch letter basically compared black people to horses. In the same way that they would break a horse, imagine, like, you find a horse, or a wild horse or something like that, and you want to domesticate it so that you can ride it, you can control it, you can keep it in a pen, you can make the horse listen to your, you know, your beck and call. It's a process to breaking it. It's a certain amount of abuse and hazing that you have to put the horse through so that it can stay on your farm. In the same way, they did the same shit to black people. And they talked about how, for example, there's a whole chapter in this letter about the breaking process. This is titled "The Breaking Process of the African Woman," or "The Breaking Process of the African Man," or "The Breaking Process of a Nigger Marriage." Like, so they have strategies to make us fight each other so that they don't have to keep fighting us themselves. They have strategies to basically emasculate the men So you don't see enough strong black men around you, so that what do you, as a boy growing up, what would you aspire to? And that's not to say that, everybody grew up without a father, but look how many people did. Like, look how many people grew up without a role model to basically show them, or give them, to show them qualities that they might want to have for themselves. And so it talked about how if you have two black women, you take the men out, and those women have children. One has a boy, one has a girl. In the letter, it says that those women will raise their children in reverse roles. And it says specifically the woman will raise the boy to be strong physically and weak mentally, because she's going to fear him bucking the system. She's going to fear him doing too much, and then they hang him like they hung everybody else, or they remove him like they removed his father. For the girl, she's going to be mentally strong, but she's going to learn to negotiate, because she's physically not as strong as the men. So, and this is not my words, again, this is in the Willie Lynch letter. And if you don't know what it is, Google it, Willie Lynch letter. You can spell it however you want. Google got autocorrect.